Hello, I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary, and today I want to show you how new authors can pick and choose what orders they want to do in Textbroker. Now, Textbroker, in my opinion, is one of the best content mills on the internet. It comes with a variety of tools that helps authors succeed. But some of the things that are on Textbroker may not be obvious to new authors who are starting on the system. So here are 5 things I think every new author should be aware of when deciding what orders they want to pick from the open pool. When looking for an order, keep in mind a client can send 2 revision requests before canceling the order on you. This gives you a chance to fix the order twice before it's rejected. And that doesn't mean that the client will automatically do so. I've had a few in the past where I've had to do more than 3 revision requests for a client because they liked the style that I wrote in and they just wanted to make sure everything was, polished up. Now, a lot of clients will work with you, especially if you show promise and good quality. Then again, you'll come across some clients who are just complete douchebags and will just dump the order as soon as possible. So if you're thinking about trying out a new topic that you don't have any experience in, at least you have that bit of a cushion to separate before you start getting rejections. Number 2 is make sure you pay close attention to the order briefing. To make the most money in Textbroker, you want to do as many orders as possible in as little time as you can. Part of this includes going through the order briefing and then following the client's steps. However, some of the order briefings can be exceptionally long and wind up taking you several minutes just to read through. A few may even have some of the most asinine, huge, long requirements possible that you can ever see in an order. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, depending on the order that you're writing and how much you're getting paid for it. On the other hand, if you're trying to follow too many guidelines from the client, it's not really worth your time to write the order. Now, because of all these extra things that clients will throw into the order briefings, it could cut into how much time that you have to write these orders. Now, if you're new to working with Textbroker, I suggest looking for orders that have fewer requirements in them. Get a feel for clients and how the system works before you try diving into something that's far more complex. Now, a lot of clients on Textbroker just want simple content with a keyword added to it. Start with these more simple clients until you get the hang of it. The third thing I want to point out is don't be shy and use the rate order briefing option for clients. Now, all orders in Textbroker come with a feature on the bottom right hand side of it that says rate order briefing. It's a system that lets you leave feedback to the clients regarding their order briefings. And you don't have to accept and complete the order in order to use this form. It's a way that authors can help clients on how they list their work. You can click the link to rate order briefing and then give a synopsis of how you feel about the briefing itself. Essentially, you just fill out a rating system to let clients know that what they're doing is good or bad. And although it's up to the client to take the feedback seriously or not, you might actually help a few of them create better order briefings for future reference. This is just one of the systems at Textbroker that I use quite often, especially with the orders that just seem like a mess from the get-go. And since you don't have to accept the order in order to leave this feedback, you really don't lose anything except for a few moments of your time. The fourth thing I want to leave you with is look for orders with connecting words. Now, one of the best types of orders to get are those that have the connecting words list. Now, these orders will have a couple of options underneath the keywords that are listed by the client. These could include plurals and inflections or the connecting words list loud. This is an option that the client has to enable on their end. And unfortunately, not all clients do. But for those who have these options enabled on their order briefing, makes everything so much easier to write. Now, when you click on the link, you'll see a list of words that are allowed within the keyword or key phrase. However, you can only use so many of these within the keyword before Textbroker flags that the keyword is not being used. Luckily, some of the key phrases that clients use only are missing things like in, the, or So once you combine them, it often makes sense inside of a sentence. Now let's say that you have the keyword of HVAC Toledo, Ohio. Now this is in the order and the client enabled the connecting words list. You could put HVAC in Toledo, Ohio and Textbroker's system would accept it. But what if the order doesn't have the connecting words list enabled? One thing you could do is complete the order exactly with how the client has the keyword in the briefing. If he or she sends a revision request and really doesn't go into detail about why, you can always cancel the order yourself and it doesn't hurt your rating. And keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with sending a client a message regarding the keyword. If it doesn't make grammatical sense, they might have a suggestion or you might actually change their minds. Normally, I would just put the key phrase in the order just like they want it. And I have yet to have a revision or a rejection due to the fact of using their keyword in their content. Well, except for once. There was this one client who kept insisting that I didn't put the keyword in exactly how they wanted it. However, Textbroker's editing system will not accept the order unless you do put those in exactly how they have it worded. After the third revision, he canceled the order on me. However, the rejection was removed from my account because I was in the right. The keywords were exactly how the client wanted them inside the order, and the Textbroker management went ahead and removed the rejection from my account. But when I first started writing for Textbroker, I put in the keywords exactly how they wanted them, no matter what. And I've created some stuff that really didn't make much sense, especially the orders where every 20th word on average was their keyword. This was after Google's Panda update, so like keyword stuffing was going to hurt your SEO anyway. But that's how they wanted it, so that's how I wrote it. Now, I try to make keywords and everything flow well, but sometimes it's just not possible. Certain phrases like HVAC Toledo, Ohio, really you can only go so far with. Do the best you can to make the phrase fit, but just try not to force it. For instance, you could put something like this in the order when you have something like HVAC Toledo, Ohio. And for the most part, when you do stuff like that, the clients will accept it. Usually that's because they're going to go ahead and put in their own stop words anyway. Because once you sell content to a client, it's no longer yours, it's theirs. They can do with whatever they want, and a lot of them often do. Now, the fifth thing I want to bring up is something else you can do when deciding on an order is checking the client profile. You can do this by clicking on the client's ID number inside the order itself. This will pull up a small screen with a little bit of information on it. Two things you want to look at are the rejection rate and the revision rate. Now, a high revision rate isn't really necessarily all that bad. It just means that the client is a little bit anal when it comes to getting content from authors. But a high rejection rate might be cause for concern. In fact, I don't accept orders from any client who has a rejection rate of 5% or higher. Then again, I'm a bit anal when it comes to people I want to work with. I mean, really, a 5% rejection rate could mean that the client only posted 20 items and has rejected 1 so far. So this kind of says that new clients are going to have a higher rejection rate until they start getting more orders back from authors. So it's not really even that they're anal. It could mean that he or she posted a piece of content and the author that wrote it sucked. It happens. But this screen gives you a bit of an idea of who you're working with. So let's put it all together. As a Textbroker newbie, you want to look for orders that have fewer requirements in the briefing. I found the shorter the briefing, the quicker you can get the order done. Look for connecting words for orders with nonsensical key phrases. A lot of clients will activate the connecting words list, which makes writing pieces much easier. Keep an eye on a client's rejection and revision rates. If you're ever in doubt of a client, the revision and rejection rate may help you make a decision to write the client's content. Understand you have 2 revision requests before the client can outright reject your order. If the client sends in a revision request, try to adhere to their needs. If a second request comes in and still not clear on what the client wants, number 5 is don't be afraid to cancel an order if the client is not providing clear details on how to fix the problem. Some clients are just difficult to work with, and that's not your fault. Use the rate order briefing even if you don't do the order yourself. This helps the client understand the briefing may be confusing and he or she should revise it for future reference. And always remember, you're not going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. You can't be afraid to fail. You're not always going to provide exactly what every client wants. Just do the best you can while providing the best quality possible. Should a client not like your style, cancel it and move on. So what are some of the problems that you've come across in Textbroker as a newbie? Leave in the comments down below. Maybe I can help you. My biggest issue was learning AP style English in the beginning. And I was far too clinical in my writing at the very beginning as well. I learned that you don't need to show off your thesaurus to Textbroker clients. And most of them just want something simple that they can slap up on their website to attract an audience, so keeping it at an 8th grade reading level is ideal. Essentially, I had to learn to dumb it down a bit and quit using excessive language and terms. This is on top of the comma issue that I had at the very beginning as well. Transitioning from Oxford style to AP style with comma usage was a pain in the ass. So I hope that helps some of you out there who are new authors to Textbroker. If you found the video informative, hit the like button. If you want to learn more about Textbroker and other things that I cover, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow.